Kia ora everyone, and welcome back to the Careering Podcast. I am Kelsie, your co-host, and I'm here with the wonderful founder and creator of Careering 9, Melissa Davies. Hola.
Hola.
And our wonderful new producer, Caleb Davies. What's going on?
How are we today?
Oh, good to pay. Pretty good.
We're just vibing. You're vibing? I love the eyebrow raise.
It's because I said to Caleb before, I said, "Keti pihakwe," and he didn't know how to answer. And I'm like,
Oh, I'm so bad with that. That's my goal for the year, is to learn. Maybe next year. It's to learn.
I think he just gave himself an out. I've got a goal, but I'm just going to shift the timeline.
I think he might have realised that we were past halfway in the year.
Yeah, to learn today. Yeah,
You could start now.
I could.
Let's talk about this later.
Don't come back to me till next year, though.
Okay, so apart from you doing today, how and you just vibing today, is there any other feels coming from your side of the fence? Anything else you're interested in at the moment?
Not really, no.
No? You're just going to be upfront. You're going to be real helpful today, aren't you? She's got crazy eyes. She's tired.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well read. Well read.
Yeah. Look, I'm just on my F1 bandwagon yet again.
Oh, cow.
Yeah, well, don't Kels me. It's just fucking great. And who knows what the driver market's going to behold for 2025. Well, we all know, but like there's a lot of good changes.
We
and I'm very
all
excited.
don't know. The deep F1 fans know.
Well, look, it's for some reason Red Bull has decided that they're going to keep Prius, and it's just like a fucking miracle. And I will eat my words that if somehow he makes a comeback and starts winning. Anyway, you don't care. And I will just stop talking about it. So what are we talking about today?
So pretty much today's episode is just going to be me asking you guys questions.
I love that.
Caleb
Easy.
and the aunties.
I've got lots of opinions.
I know, right? Easy as. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So
Let's roll.
what's your current dream job? And what was your dream job when you were 16?
They're both looking at me, which means I have to go first, which means I don't get the 3 minutes to think about my answer.
Okay, would you want me to do it first? Because I know what my dream job is.
Excellent, go.
Something where I get paid to walk around and talk to people all day and don't have to do any tasks. That's my dream job.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you should be in entertainment.
Yeah.
Like a roving reporter.
Yeah. No, because then I have to like do the edits and like do the things.
No,
and all
producer
this.
Caleb will do that for you.
I want it. Yeah, you're coming with me for life.
Let's go.
I think my job, what I really enjoy and where I get energy at work is when I get a chance to talk to people and interact and see them grow and change, and like when those moments click and they're like, oh yeah, I get it, let's go, and they go off and do the wonderful things. If I could just jump from person to person in a job all day and do that, fucking love it. Be great. That's my dream job.
My introversion is shriveling at that level of people engagement per day.
I mean, yeah, I get energy from it. But then by the end of the day, I get home and I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm going to doom scroll for 3 hours.
Your social battery is fully depleted.
Yeah. But also at the same time, I think like if I want to get paid to do anything, that'd be great. Either that or doom scroll. I'd love to get paid to do that. That'd be great.
Is there such a job?
There should be. I think it's called a TikTok moderator. And I'm not sure whether I want that. I don't really want to see all of the things I don't want to see.
Yeah, and there'd be tasks.
Yeah. And there'd be things to do. Yeah. No, I just want to
no
talk
to
to
the
people.
tasks.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your dream job was when you were 16 or younger?
Oh, like,
Back in the day.
I think if you were a millennial girl and you were at primary school, your dream job was to be a marine biologist. Like, I think
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that was-
I've talked to a lot of like girls my age, and they're all just like, yeah, we wanted to work with dolphins.
I mean, fair. Who would not want to have dolphins?
Yeah.
And then we all got like a bit self-conscious about our bodies, about getting in a pool, and then we were like, nah, that dream's out. But I think we'd previously been having a conversation about this, and I think where I grew up and where I went to school and sort of even being based here in New Zealand,
Yeah.
I think shaped what I did as a career. Like I think if I hadn't have been in the space of that circumstance, I would have moved into film. But the life that I wanted to leave wasn't that of a struggling artist.
Yeah, we were talking about how like living in New Zealand, it is limited opportunities as per wherever you are, and specifically as well when you are growing up, who you're around can also affect what your dream job is at that age. Yeah, how about you?
100% it does. That the people that show you what's possible are really important. And if you
Yeah.
have people around you that constantly tell you it's not possible, then what you believe is within
Their
reach for
outlook
you
and their
gets smaller
motivation.
and smaller. Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. Everyone's favorite comfort millennials, the Try Guys.
classic.
They were doing their podcast the other day, and they were talking about who they would want at their 50th birthday, like who would be like a really important person. And he was talking about how his dad's friend who worked in the entertainment industry sat him down and went, if you want it, go and do it, but you know it's going to be fucking hard. So make sure you really want it. And him having that conversation with him was the like thing that took him to the next level. But yes, what about you, Melissa?
Yeah, so a little confronting is when I was at school when I was 16, I wanted to be an accountant. Which I think I've confessed that before, and it seems so far removed from anything I'm actually good at because that's all about crossing T's and dotting I's. And
What was it? Was it the money?
no, I think it was the only job I knew that worked in an office and was business related. And I really liked the idea of creating ventures and economics. And so the only job I could see in that space was kind of accounting.
Yeah, because farm girl.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Yeah,
once
and
again is who you're growing up around and what you know in your life. Yeah.
yeah, and so during school holidays, we were asked to go and do work experience. We got given an extra week at the start of the holidays to go home and then do work experience because I was at boarding school. So I asked Dad's accountant if I could come and work in his office, and it was on Rickerton Road. And I used to catch the bus in, and I remember thinking I had to wear stockings and a pencil
Oh my
skirt and a
God.
white shirt so I could work in an office. And I loved it. I used to catch the bus in every day, and Mum and Dad were like, you've got to make your own lunch, you've got to be super organised, take this seriously. And then whoever we did work experience with had to write us a written report about how we...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was quite serious. And I got quite a lot out of that. I actually like being in a professional environment, and I can quickly see that if I put in effort, it gets noticed, acknowledged, and I get more support and I get more opportunity. So it kind of reinforced this view that actually if you take the lead a wee bit and, show some initiative, you can actually, everyone wins.
Yeah.
But as for my dream job now, I am obsessed with Brene Brown's life. The fact that she gets to go and do deep research about something that makes us imperfectly human. She gets to go and write about it, research it, do the analysis, hide away on her own, reading smart people's work, and then doing her own smart people work, and seeing all of these diverse experiences and perspectives, and then consolidating that into like simple, meaningful breakthroughs that help people live better lives.
Yeah.
That would be my dream job.
I love it. That's so cool.
I have a few more questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with more of not a down question, but
Down. What's a down question?
like not as
Sad.
Not as vibey.
yeah. So pretty much, it's still important though. It's what was a mistake you've made that's affected your career?
Oh.
Oh, that's a good question.
I got drunk at a party and fell off a step. Didn't walk for 6 months. Does that count?
That counts.
Or are we talking about career mistakes?
We can do both.
Well, that did affect what was possible for you for a while. Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. And it is still like, I still have, I'm just going to have pain from it for the rest of my life. And that is what it is. But we move on, get shit done. I don't know. I think in my 20s, I let my emotions get the best of me at work and work environments. And I think I took things way too to heart. And that then affected my opportunities and things that were given to me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't rationalize my way out of it.
I think a lot of people would actually, be a bit, or not be a bit too emotional at work, but could be easily offended at work. And yeah, that's quite a good.
I think I cared too much.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where
Cared
that
too much what
emotion
people
came
think.
from. Yeah.
How
It's
about
also an
you?
interesting generational lens. There's a lot of research from demographers about how, so for boomers, their career and their car are an extension of their identity.
Right.
And Gen X are, I have work self and home self. And millennials are, this is all of me all of the time, like it or don't. And so there's no separation between my work self and my job, which is separate from me,
I'm in
and
work
who
life.
I am. Like there's quite integrated. They bring they want to always be their whole self all of the time. And if you're working in a workplace where other people don't have that same view, they might approach things quite differently or deliver feedback in a more brutal way because their map of the world looks different to your map of the world. And so I think that maybe that factors into some of that.
It's probably also like I was working with a lot of millennials and we all cared too much because we'd all put it together. Yeah. So diversity in the workplace, this is why it's important.
It is. So for me, one of the big mistakes I made is I took a role that I didn't know for certain that I wanted to get away from a role that I didn't like. So instead of being really clear about what I was moving towards, I just wanted to jump and get away from where I was.
Yeah.
And so that's been a great life lesson, and I tell people that all the time, is be really intentional about what you're choosing instead of just being, oh, I don't want this, so I'll take anything else.
Yeah.
Because that caused so much chaos, like really tough work environment, really, really bullying behavior from one of my colleagues, resulted in, redundancy 7 months later, along with about 50 other people, but way less confidence in my capability because of being in that environment for 7 months. So huge mistake.
Yeah.
Big, huge.
Yeah. Now to bring it back up, what is some of your best advice for someone joining or wanting to succeed in a new role or starting in the workforce for their first job?
For me, it's always read the first 90 days and treat getting up to speed as quick as possible as your number one priority. So take personal responsibility for learning the organisation, the people, the role. Build a learning map and own that, because if you show up in a new role or a new organisation waiting for others to come to you and teach you how to do everything, you getting from zero to hero can be really protracted. Whereas the sooner that you're at a really fully capable state in the organisation, you'll feel better, you contribute more, and you're in a position to have more autonomy over how you work.
So holding yourself accountable for your growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. What about you, Kels?
I think mine would be remember the context in terms of the fact that you are a piece of the puzzle. So if you're joining a team, you are one cog in that machine, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And there is context in their situations that you might not necessarily need to know about or will know about or whatever. You're just a piece that keeps it all moving, and that if something happens to you or if something happens around you that is not necessarily about you.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the advice I needed when I first started.
Yeah. Did you guys have to make any big decisions, or one or many, that have helped you guys succeed in your careers?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this episode already. I think this is a good episode.
Okay, I was like high-fiving myself.
Good.
Great.
We like that.
I'm
Be your own
asking
cheerleader.
great questions. Yeah. I think the thing I'm really grateful for with hindsight that I did is I read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dad gave me that book when I first got a full-time job, and he was like, these are the things that no one teaches you, but if you can learn these skills, they'll really help you get ahead. And so I think not just reading it and going, cool, thanks, Dad, but actually implementing a lot of those qualities has been repeatedly beneficial. And so there's some really cool stuff in that book. I won't sit here and go through it, but I do think finding an ethos that aligns with your value set that you can continue to hold yourself accountable to feels really good.
My decision to not continue in a job that I wasn't happy with and move down here to Christchurch
Yeah.
was that was a hard decision to make because it was comfortable and it was safe and it was known. And I think working through that process and having everyone support me in that process was definitely something where I do not believe that I would be at the place, like we talked about, me being in a place where I feel like I'm writing my own story now. I don't think I would be in this place if I had not left Wellington. So I think personally, in aid of having a better career, that decision has like twofold.
That's awesome, especially
That's so
hearing
cool.
especially hearing that you left a situation which can often feel like one of the biggest, scariest decisions is leaving your job, and how much that's helped you grow. And yeah.
And they had a really compelling offer on the table for promotion for Kels too. So it
did
wasn't like you was leaving a situation that you didn't enjoy or weren't
Yeah.
getting rewarded in. It was
Yeah.
actually a
loved
good
the
situation.
job, I loved the work, I loved the team. I loved, like, it was a good thing, but it was a moment in my life where I had to go, I need to make a crossroads decision.
Trust yourself.
I either go this pathway or I go this pathway, and whatever I choose will have an effect on my life.
Yeah.
And I think looking back now, I don't like to look back at all and go, shouldn't have done that, except for maybe the step at the party. But looking back now, there's not a single regret.
That's awesome. I love to hear
Yeah.
hearing that there's no regret in that.
But they're the hardest decisions. I think that's
Yeah.
something I've reflected on this year and someone told me recently they'd heard a quote that if you're trying to cut down and focus on certain things, if you're not saying no to things that hurt because you want to do them, you're not ruthlessly cutting back enough.
Yeah.
Like it should feel like you're cutting off a limb when you say no to things. If you really want to be focused, there has to be, it's the pain of saying no to the good things. That's which I fundamentally continue to struggle with. Like I've got way better at saying no to the things I don't want to do, but the things I do want to do, but I can't because I need to prioritize X and Y.
Yeah.
And so that ability to be like, this is still really good, but it's not right.
Like not right for right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so hard.
Especially if you're an eldest daughter with a people-pleasing content. Like you're used to saying yes to everything. And especially if you are early in your career as well, you'll get to this point where you've got enough momentum that you have so many things on the table to say yes to that it's just a fundamental thing that we will all go through. You'll say yes too many times, you'll get overwhelmed and some things will implode and you'll go, fuck, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And I almost think it is like a key life milestone that we all have to go through to realize that actually we have to be quite protective of our time.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that.
Yeah, I mean, we all are. I do it all the fucking time. Did it last week.
I'm still failing at that though. Like this is my confession moment.
Yeah, like I stayed up like working on something the other week, and someone said, "Thanks for doing that." And I went, "Don't thank me. It was my stupid fault for saying yes too many times. Like this is not a thanks situation. This is a repercussion of my actions."
Before we go into wrap up, what do you think have helped you guys succeed? Is it support, work ethic? I know there's a lot of factors, but what do you think are top 3 things that you need to succeed?
Epic mentors, personal responsibility, saying fuck it and just giving it a go.
What about you, Kels?
You came out with that way too fucking
I know.
quickly.
It was really, as soon as Caleb asked, I was like, no, exactly what. But it's really, I've had so many conversations this week where I've been able to talk to others about how I've had mentors supporting me. And even as we're talking, a lot of the advice I realised that shaped my career has come from my dad and the conversations him and I used to have. Because when I used to fly back from Australia, I used to come back maybe 5-6 times a year.
Not for my birthday.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say when Caleb was 7, he was very disappointed that I didn't. He emailed me an invite for his party 2 days later and was very disappointed.
Caleb.
Was it your 7th birthday?
I think we were, yeah.
It was
around there.
12 years ago. Let it go.
Yeah.
She didn't come to my 19th either.
It's because I had a heart attack. I was in
I
hospital.
didn't know that at the time.
Caleb thought I'd nah, I'm not hanging out with you. And I did.
I thought she just said no, 'cause she didn't want to hang out, but she just didn't want to tell me that she's.
And freak you out on your birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm with her.
yeah. So Caleb,
I am now.
move on. If you want to be in the will, move on.
Get more tattoos. Yeah. How about you, Kels? What's helped you succeed? What do you think is important to succeed?
Jesus. Her?
Yeah.
Bossy friends. Yeah, move to Christchurch. Do it.
I think it is those friends that like you said, mentors,
Yeah.
but also the ones that don't give you an option to not do it.
Yeah.
The amount of times I'm like, so how's this work-life balance going for you, Kels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, let's fucking stop it.
Yeah.
Don't hold me accountable for my actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I need from you today. Get fucked. But for me, it is EQ. I think that is a fundamental piece of success for both myself, but others around me and other things that I see. I think it is really an absolute must that the deeper we get into the world of technology, people aren't learning.
Yeah.
And it is, like I was even thinking about it today, and there's so many things happening in this world that are just born out of hate and hatred for others and hatred for other people. And it breaks my heart that if people were taught some fundamental EQ skills
Yeah.
from an early age and in our schooling, we I truly believe we would not be at this place of some horrific shit happening around the world. So EQ I think is really important. I think people that are, you can go up to them and go, hey, I need a sounding board. I just need you to listen. And I think being able to have that conversation with them is really important. And I think a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Or even if you can't define it perfectly, I think a direction to head.
Yeah.
Because there, like you said before, there are so many things that you can do in this world. There are so many directions you can head in. There are every single option available to you if you are of a certain privilege. And it is and can be deeply overwhelming. And I think understanding doing that self-discovery work and all the rest of it, I think is really important to give you a direction to flow towards.
Yeah.
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 Sorry. My one was
No, that's good.
far less succinct than yours.
No,
was.
but
That was-
so meaningful.
Yeah.
I was like, it's really making me think. And your point about EQ is so true because you build EQ by being present with people.
Yeah.
And if you're constantly distracted by devices or busyness, how do you build that? And those two things are so synonymous with how we live our lives these days.
Yeah, and I think, look, that doesn't take into account people that are neurospicy and can't necessarily get on the same EQ level as others. But I do think it is something that the more time you spend in places with people and really understand humans and how they operate, I think you can grow a learning muscle in that space.
Yeah, and that level of, I think empathy, which I know for some people it doesn't come naturally, but learning how to read others and have consideration for others, I think can absolutely be learned. Yeah.
And just to be really clear, empathy is not softness. Empathy is understanding.
Yeah.
And being able to show up and hold space for that is just, if you can do that, you will be successful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I'm going to start the TikTok and tweets for the week. So my tweet, I'm on tweets, I'm not on TikTok right now, is either you run the day or the day runs you.
Nice.
I like that. What about you guys? What's
Who's it by? Got to tell us who it's from.
Jim Ron.
Jim Rohn. Yeah, he's really good. He's a self-help dude.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, get into that.
What about you? What's yours for the week?
Mine's from Danny Miranda, and it's the price of not doing what you want to do is a loss of life force.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it comes down to that purpose stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it is. Yeah. I think moving forward to something is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you, Kels.
I'm just going to line it up.
Has anyone else realized they can no longer use the phrase, it's just one of those weeks, because they've accidentally picked a job where every week is one of those weeks?
I suppose the important thing is to make sure one of those weeks is a positive thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'll try and save it.
Yeah, or get off that ship.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much for all of your questions. That was
Thank you guys for the answers.
far more intense than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we were thinking we got to kick back and Caleb was going to do all the work.
Jesus. I'm going to go home and have an existential crisis after this. Hey, thanks, Caleb.
And we apologise to any of you now having an existential crisis trying to answer those same questions.
Yeah. At one point, we will hit you with harder ones, just so you're
It'll
aware.
come back for me.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody for listening for this week. We really appreciate it. Again, you can follow us on all of the channels. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of the things. You can YouTube, and obviously Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Is that what it's called
Apple
now?
Podcasts.
I'm only using Spotify, so I don't know.
Oh, I use Apple Podcasts because Spotify's for music, Apple Podcasts are for podcasts.
Okay. Tell us that you've got a certain routine without telling us you've got a certain routine.
It's mainly the fact that I download so many episodes that I can't have them confused with my music, so I can quickly find that in my car.
Okay, so if you're like Melissa, podcasts on Apple Podcasts, music on Spotify.
Or YouTube.
Or we are on YouTube as well. And as always, get out there and be curious.